Welcome to iHeartGeek.
And you all knew I was going to do that. Welcome to another episode of iHeartGeek. Hey guys, we get a Monty Python show today. Yeah, I've been looking forward to doing this since my hockey show because we always threw a lot of references in. Because Monty Python, the most quotable movie, comedy troupe on the planet ever, I think.
Some of the most brilliant comedic writing there's ever been.
Absolutely. Let's start with the old voices first. We got my good buddy and always agreeable. We have my buddy Kaj. How you doing, bud?
How's it going, guys?
We're doing outstanding. How are you doing?
Fantastic.
You look well rested.
Yes.
Is there a reason? Did you get a nice nap before the show, perhaps?
Somebody just happened to call me about 20 minutes ago saying, "Hey, we're recording today, so you might want to come over here."
So you grabbed your pair of coconuts and
I
banged them together really fast and ran over.
Whoa! And the minstrel singing behind me for my tunes. Yeah.
Nice. And they told you what?
He is late, Sir Kaj. Late, Sir Kaj.
And the guy singing right over there is the always disagreeable PB&Jason.
That's not true. That's a...
and what's he disagreeing right now?
I will have to agree with his disagreement.
I disagree with my disagreement.
Nice.
Hi,
how you doing?
I'm great.
Outstanding.
Monty Python. I'm excited about this too.
Yeah. So let's go over to the other side with the newer guys, I guess. They've all been on the show before, but let's introduce them again. We have the voice of the show.
The voice.
We have Mr. Todd Harvey. How you doing, bud?
Splendid, Wendell. Good to be here. Good to see you all again.
Welcome
nice
back. Welcome
Good
back,
morning.
The voice.
Your voice sounds like it was rested, and you might have just done a show before this, maybe.
Yeah, and I haven't worked in forever, so it's all good for the voice.
And finally, we have my good buddy, Mr. Winchester.
Well,
who's
hello,
back.
good morning. How are you?
Not too bad. How you doing?
Outstanding, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having me on this one. I
have
love
to
me
say,
some Monty Python.
I'm feeling a little intimidated because I'm usually the deep voice guy on the show, and I'm now the two deepest voice guys.
You have been derelegated to number 3.
Exactly. I've been...
Hey, guys, how you doing?
I don't understand what you're talking about, PB. This is how I always sound.
Yeah.
So do I need to go up an octave? I'm just curious.
That almost sound like Cal right there.
Well, you always sound
Tighten
like
your shorts, man. You'll do fine.
You get prepubescent girl down just fine, Dub. You're fine, buddy.
Okay. Okay, so today's iHeartGeek is brought to you by Swallows. European, not African. Only support the European. They're the ones that paid us. The African, not so much. Okay, so just starting right off, let's go from the frying pan into the fire. We got Who Beats Who.
And now it's time for a showdown.
Okay, today's Who Beats Who is, the Wonder Woman versus the Thor.
Wow, my two picks.
It is your two picks. You're losing a pick today.
I know, that's sad.
No, this is this definitely did some interesting ties. On Facebook, Wonder Woman crushed Thor. Now, 90% of the time, Thor was crushing Wonder Woman on Twitter, but at the very, very end, it tied.
Phrasing, dude.
Yeah, phrasing. We're not doing phrasing anymore. So we have one vote just off the get-go. We have one vote for Wonder Woman and 0 for Thor. So that's where we're starting.
Okay.
So let's go around the table real quick. Let's try to make this short and sweet. Let's start with you, Kaj.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Are you picking on Wonder Woman? Or are you picking Thor?
It was a very hard decision. Like I went through all the schematics, and I'm picking Wonder Woman.
Okay. For some reason, that doesn't surprise me.
Why?
I just thought you would.
Okay.
I think he likes brunettes instead of blondes.
Well, yeah.
That is true.
The history has proven that, I think. So, those things. Okay, PB, who are you picking, sir?
Okay, so this really was tough because it was my two picks. Mm-hmm. When you statistically lay out Wonder Woman and Thor next to each other, you have
phrasing.
Wow.
I
We're not even doing phrasing anymore,
I threw in statistically to obstruct and block the dirty minds, but it didn't.
That's not going to happen.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, so statistic wise, they are very, very even. I mean, in strength, in warrior skill, in everything. And then when you take consideration of like Odin's mood, that has a lot to do with how well Thor is going to perform. If Odin is feeling like a Richard, then Thor's going to suffer. You know. Now, and then there's the one important thing in 2 crossovers, Wonder Woman was found worthy to pick up Mjolnir. Okay, so all these things in consideration made this very tough. But I think that if Thor is, I'm not even going to say, I'll just say unmolested, and go ahead, laugh.
Wow.
If Thor is unmolested by Odin,
Wow.
and Wonder Woman is the Wonder Woman, you know, the classic Wonder Woman, then I think that Thor with Mjolnir eyelash victories over Wonder Woman.
Wow, this upsets me. I agree with you. I think I see Thor taking it. It's not going to be a pretty fight no matter what. I think, you know, given the way the wind blows, I might change my mind on it. But I'm going to give it to Thor, all things considered.
On any,
Warworld, come on.
On any given day, it could be different.
It could be either way. But as of right now, on today, the way the wind blows today, I'm going to say I think Thor takes it.
Okay.
Todd.
Yeah, honestly, I think Thor would take it, hands down. She might be a mythical warrior trained by some of the best and have God's blood in her from, as Dub informed me earlier today, her father
Zeus,
Ares.
Her father's Zeus.
Ares ain't Odin.
Yeah, but Zeus is actually her father.
It goes either way. Yeah. It's on both. It depends. It depends what you look at.
Anyways, Wonder Woman is Wonder Woman. She's a great warrior, really tough, really badass. But Thor is the god of thunder. Baby. I think Thor's got it the whole way.
Outstanding. Right. Mr. Winchester?
I cannot articulate or be any more insightful than any of that. I like hammers, not lasso, so I'll take Thor.
There you go.
Nice.
Wow.
Way to boil it down, dude.
So,
that was righteous.
So with a vote of 2 for Wonder Woman and 3, 4, I counted that high. 4 for Thor. We have Thor going to the next round.
And even if you give each of them a point for the tie, Thor still takes it.
That's why we did it like that.
Right. So don't forget though, you'll be Thor if he hits you.
Thank
you very much.
I tried to go to bed last night after that one.
Haven't.
Okay, so let's move on to our fun stuff. Let's hit right away. We're hitting Monty Python because we're the knights to say something. What do we say? There you go.
Newt.
No. Neat. So, my first question is this, and we can just discuss, we can riff on this for a few minutes. When did you personally get into Monty Python, and what makes it click with every freaking generation, starting with 6th grade on, every male in America gets into Monty Python? Why? And when did you get into it? About somewhere between 6th grade and high school, I would bet, for every one of you guys.
Well, let me go first. I'm the old one here.
Well, you were here. You were alive before Monty Python started. I know.
Right about 1971 when they put it on television. We had to wait up late for it. So my mom, who was in real estate, had already gone to bed. My brother and I would watch Benny Hill, followed directly by the Monty Python show, and it was just what turned us onto it. It was some of the most cold, calculated, brilliantly written humor that was just off the charts. We had nothing like it in America.
Yeah.
It was just so different and so funny. And so
cold.
When they started generating these movies, Holy Grail, Life of Brian, The Meaning of Life. Oh, my God. Those are, they're guaranteed moneymakers for them because, they had me from the get-go.
Nice.
Yeah, Monty Python, either you get it or you don't. But at that age, it seems like even if you don't get it, you pretend to.
You either love it or you hate it.
Let me go now because it kind of works well with what the voice over here was talking about. So when I was in middle school and renting, video cassette, VHS, whatever, I picked up The Meaning
from
of Life.
behind the beaded curtain.
Right, exactly. So no,
everybody knew what I'm talking about.
Not until a couple years later.
I did not.
Actually, not until I worked in video stores, but that's another story.
You are old.
Yeah, almost. I'm in your neighborhood there. I rented The Meaning of Life and brought it home. My dad and I watched it, and I was in middle school, and I can say now that the humor went way over my head at that time.
Like When Death Came to Dinner.
Yeah, all of that, and quite honestly, the grossness of that. And a lot of that...
the heresy?
I hated that movie, to be honest.
Really?
Well,
yeah.
when that dude at
That's
dinner,
heresy.
when his whole chest explodes because of the chocolate wafer, that was a bit much.
And I mean, I could come back now as an adult and see it again
See
with
the humor
different
in it,
eyes.
yeah.
But at the time, I hated that movie. And this is funny because I had already seen
How old were you?
middle school.
Okay, so you did appreciate the huge crowd of naked women running
Well,
along.
sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
just checking.
But the funny thing is, the reason I
Hair
think that
everywhere.
The reason I think that we rented this is because in middle school I had seen Time Bandits and loved it. I mean, it left an impression on me, and it had some moments that for a kid were kind of scary. But I loved that movie. So when it came to The Meaning of Life, and then watched that, and I hated it. So through the rest of middle school and all through high school, when people were making all the Monty Python yada yada quotes and all that stuff, didn't care, didn't get it, didn't give a crap.
However,
no. And then I get into college, and I was with some friends that are like, we're going to watch The Holy Grail. And I'm like, what's that? And they're like, Monty Python. You've not heard of that? I'm like, oh, Monty Python. I don't really care. I saw The Meaning of Life. I didn't like it. They're like, okay, you're going to sit down and you're going to watch The Holy Grail.
intervention.
Yeah, it was definitely an intervention. And that, of course, changed
Well, it's
everything.
because by that time in your life, you had a level of sophistication
Yeah.
and knowledge that you could appreciate the humor.
Sophistication is questionable. The knowledge, I would probably
You
agree
have to
with.
have a modicum of sophistication just
Yeah.
to get the cutting humor.
True.
Pinky
so
up.
I was definitely. I became a fan after that.
Mm-hmm.
Saw Everything Life of Brian. I thought that was pretty good. Loved And Now for Something Completely Different. Loved the television show. Went back and saw that. Then did see The Meaning of Life again, and I still actually think that's their least. I think that's their
Fair
least
enough.
offering, but still.
Well, there has to be one that is.
right.
So, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Winchester, when did you discover?
Yeah, it was probably the same thing around like 6th grade, 7th grade. My father, of course, who I believe I probably have gotten my sense of humor when it comes to movies and everything else.
Ooh, your dad's dirty. I'm just kidding.
Hey, everything. He's the man.
pup.
Yeah, he's the man who introduced me to Mel Brooks too. So
There you go. That is coming up, by the way.
yes, it is. He sat us down. We all watched it. We all fell in love with it. I think hearing him and his belly laughs, where I may not have been able to understand some of the things that were happening.
But you get it.
I get it, yeah. And then, of course, just through the years, that movie has always stuck with me. It's one of those movies I can sit down and watch anytime, quote it. It just, I love Monty Python.
Nice. Kaj, what about you, sir?
I am probably the most different out of everybody here because I didn't get into them until probably my 20s.
Really?
Yeah, it just like Monty Python was not something that we watched in our house, and I'd seen a couple of episodes, and then like and then my buddies got me into the Holy Grail,
Which is
'cause,
great, by the way.
I'm like, I'd never seen it before, and they're like, got all bug eyed and was like, what?
Yeah, same type of intervention.
Yeah,
I know that intervention.
almost. It was like I said. Then all of a sudden, the DVD was actually going into the like. Nope, we're watching it right now. I'm done. So
what is it about, let's say junior high, whatever, when American males seem to discover it? I mean, every generation loves it. It doesn't skip a beat.
Because
it's timeless. Why?
That's an age level where you have a pure mixture of your first taste of sophistication plus a huge amount of irresponsibility and irreverence.
Right, and your
that's good,
your
actually.
brain at that time is just a sponge.
Oh, yeah.
You absorb things so completely.
And because,
At
of
that
course,
time.
the British humor is so cold and calculating, but dirty.
Right.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's potty humor.
Absolutely.
Yeah, in a lot of ways it is. With an amazing amount of sophistication.
Which
You know,
also, of course, reflects on the fact that I know many, many more male fans of Python
Oh,
than
absolutely.
female.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, on Family Guy, they had the best quote on that. Meg goes, they're torturing her by making her listen to the worst Monty Python quotes over and over again. She goes, I'm a girl. I don't like the good Monty Python quotes.
I think also if you just kind of strip it down to the basic that the movie, the way that it goes, they were just all basic scenes there where their dialogue and their antics could outshine everything else, as where movies are just so in your face right now with everything, with all the CGI, and it's so simple and you could just laugh at the easy things. You know, with in Life of Brian where they're stoning the man. What's so special about that entire scene? Nothing, except for just a bunch of people wearing beards and throwing rocks at somebody. It's just
there's no reason it should be funny, but it is.
It is.
The level of ridiculousness taken so seriously in the skits really is appealing.
Yes.
Well, because it feels so, because it's British and we're Americans and kind of silly like that. Everything the British
They're
say
trying
is
to
smart.
make it look so important,
And
it's just silly.
It's as bad as
Extremely.
anything that we put on American TV. It's as bad as Jackass, basically, without the ball punches.
Jackass is a paltry excuse in comparison to Python.
No, I'm just
Very
saying.
true, my personal opinion.
It's the same level of humor. It's just it's sophisticated because of the British.
Accent.
Whatever it
Well,
is.
we believe it to be more sophisticated because of the British.
Yeah,
when it's not.
I know we have some British fans out there. Do you guys feel the same way, or is it strictly American that we hold it to reverence, or do the British love it as much as we do? Is it different for y'all? I'm curious.
Actually, this reminded me of something interesting. When I first met the woman who is my beautiful wife, she introduced me to a show called The Young Ones. Do any of you guys?
Oh
familiar with
yeah,
that?
the English troupe.
Yeah, exactly. And she introduced me to that, and that is also a hysterical show.
That actually came out first on MTV.
Right, it did. And I was watching that show, and I'm like, these guys are very. There's a lot of Monty Python
Totally
influence into
influenced
what
by
they're
him,
doing.
yeah.
And she was like, "Really?" And I was like, "You haven't seen much Python?" And she's like, "No." So then who had that by that
Intervention.
time had done some intervention myself, showed her some Python, and she thought Python was okay. She actually really liked it now for something completely different, more than the Holy Grail. But yeah, so it was interesting that she was into that, and we kind of exchanged British comedic information.
Nice. Okay, well, let's move on. We're doing a new segment today, and the segment is going to be led by our new guy. Well, one of our new guys. We have the segment we're calling, I don't know what I'm calling it, let's be honest. I'm going to change this a million times before it stays, but it's basically a where are they now?
Hey, where are they at now?
Okay, I hope you all like the music that is not invented yet, so we couldn't dance to it, but it'll be there when the show comes
dug
on.
it.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Winchester, lead us in our very first Where Are They Now? Talking about the gentlemen, and I don't know if we had any of the ladies that were Monty Python.
Well, I mean, we could just start off with the original 6 that wof a part of it. Unfortunately, the only one who has passed since is Graham Chapman.
Right.
He passed away in 1989.
So, what kind of give us
He
a
was the
reference?
lead in Life of Brian and in Holy Grail.
Okay.
It was King Arthur.
He was the king?
Yeah, he didn't have much
Arthur
to do
Pendragon?
after.
Yeah.
He didn't have much to do after a lot of those. He apparently was a really bad alcoholic. Had some problems.
That happened a lot with those guys.
Yeah, even while on the movie sets, they said when he was running over the bridge in Monty Python that he was having the DTs from alcohol withdrawal and had a problem where they had the stage manager actually doing it. So
Just a reminder, real quick, I'll let you continue, but I remember you guys saw the Monty Python special when they had his urn up on stage with him?
the 2014, the mostly live one.
Oh, the one at the O2?
Yeah, that's when they. No, it was 2014. They all.
No, but the O2 one, the one at the O2.
Oh yes, yeah.
Just when they had his urn up there and they spilled his ashes and they vacuumed it up.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, my God, I
the
just remember that
irreverence
one.
those guys
Now,
have.
did you guys know what Graham Chapman was doing in school before he became a member of the troupe?
No.
He was a medical student.
Really?
Oh, that's right. He does have his. Yeah, he was,
Wow.
Yeah. He's a practicing. He was a practicing physician.
Well, that's
So-
good. If somebody gets sick, then you got a doctor.
Well, too
right
late.
on
He
there.
died.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Oh yeah, unfortunately, your doctor's drunk.
Soon.
All right, so John Cleese, who is now 77 years old,
It's still amazing.
still amazing. He wrote and starred in Fish Call Wanda,
Love that movie.
in
That's my
yeah,
favorite movie of all time.
Supporting roles in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and a couple of James Bond movies.
As cute.
The last movie that he did, he was a voice in Trolls.
Okay.
So
Oh,
still doing voice work.
So he's still doing voiceover work?
Yeah, still doing voice work.
He just him and Eric Idle just were stopped by our famous casino as well too.
That's right.
They were there. That's right. They had that little show. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they had the show there.
John is my favorite Python, hands down. No doubt about it.
Okay, and who else we got?
Terry Gilliam, who is 76 years old now. Interesting enough, the only one who was born in the U.S. He also directed, of course, everybody's favorites, Time Bandits, Baron Munchausen, 12 Monkeys, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Fisher King. He currently is in the works of writing The Man Who Killed Don Quixote.
Okay.
He's a real underrated director. I
Absolutely.
mean, you hear a lot about in America about guys like Tim Burton and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He is so underrated for being such a great director.
I completely agree. Eric Idle, who's 74 years old.
Brilliant man.
Yeah, he wrote most of the songs for the troupe. He
Always
wrote
look on the bright side of life.
He wrote the book and co-wrote the music for Spam-A-Lot.
Oh yeah, nice.
He also little just cameo appearance. He was the doctor in the South Park movie, Bigger, Longer, and
Yes.
Uncut. Yeah, he was the
Right.
doctor in that one.
He was also in Ella Enchanted. He played.
That's right. Yeah,
kind of the narrator.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these guys just pop up
And,
all the time. You never.
yeah.
It's like, whoa, they're there.
And
I'm sorry. Currently, he's doing soundtracks for Britain's Got Talent, Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. He helps write some of the
nice.
music that goes
And
on
his
for that
birthday
stuff.
was not all that long ago, just a few
I
months ago.
believe so. Yeah.
And I'd have to say, we can't forget that he was also in Transformers the movie. He was the Junkion in Transformers the movie, the original
nice.
cartoon.
Nice.
Yes, he was.
Nice.
Okay. Terry Jones is about the only one that I haven't really seen a whole lot as to what he's been doing. He's 75 years old now. Most notably, he co-wrote Labyrinth.
Oh, really?
wow.
Yeah, they said that
Bowie
there was
action.
a lot of rewrites in there, and that the complete finished film isn't all his, but he's got parts of that
Nice.
film are his.
Nice.
Michael Palin, 74 years old. He now does travel documentaries.
Yeah, just walks across the
Yeah.
world and all that stuff.
Well,
Yeah,
with Monty Python money, you can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's all that he basically does now in his spare time. So that's the 6.
Nice.
Now, if
That's
I can shoot a little trivia in here, there's a gentleman named George Perry who's a Python biographer, and he says about Terry Jones, who was the heart of the Python troupe to everybody, and I quote, "Should you speak to him on subjects as diverse as fossil fuels or Rupert Bear or mercenaries in the Middle Ages or modern China, in a moment you will find yourself hopelessly out of your depth, floored by his knowledge."
Nice.
Unquote.
I believe it.
Yeah.
No, those guys
That's
are
some
all
high praise,
so-
man.
Those guys are all so smart. And I mean, that's part of what I appreciate. I just like the brilliance, Yet anybody can get them.
Well, Michael Palin was a student at Oxford,
Yeah.
where he met the rest of the Pythons.
But they can, I guess, relate with us dummies,
They can be as stupid as they want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice.
They all are kind of activists as well. A lot of them do a lot of political stuff when it comes out there. So
There was one female, of course, who was dubbed an associate Python by the actual members of Monty Python. Her name is Carol Cleveland. She always played the consummate, stereotypical blonde bombshell dingbat in the TV
Yes,
show.
yeah.
And
She was the one in
every single one of them.
Holy Grail too, the
Yes.
witch.
She was a rather buxom blonde, but
Yes.
very smart woman, and they considered her an associate Python.
Oh well,
did she pass away? Is she the one who passed away? I remember a few years ago there was a female associated with Python that passed away. And
No information on that.
Okay.
But just that great line she had at in Castle Anthrax. Oh, they want to cut this. They want to cut this, but I don't think they should. And it's just that was so Python. That was just brilliant. You know what I'm talking about? When okay, yeah,
Actually,
I just rewatched.
I just realized Mr. Winchester has the script over here. I'm gonna have to look up something later because in the Holy Grail and I've never seen it with subtitles, but after the witch scene at the very end when she's sitting there and they determine she's a witch,
Yeah.
she says a line. I have never known what that line is.
That's a good point. I will look that up right now. Everybody says a witch, a witch. The witch says it's a fair cop.
Okay, that it's a fair cop?
It's a fair cop.
Okay, because it sounds like what you said, but I always thought, I didn't know exactly that's what you said.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. A years-long question has now just been answered.
All right.
You can now fall asleep peacefully now.
That's a Python, yay.
And we all rejoiced.
Yay. That's good. That was actually perfect timing on that, Winchester.
Thank you.
So let's kind of move a little bit. I think this is kind of a fun thing to talk about. Who would you like to see? And I'm not saying let's reboot the franchise, but who else would you have liked to have seen either Python in the day or Python now that could really carry it on? Mr. Bean, that's a great call on that.
Rowan
Atkinson.
Yeah. No?
I'm going to say Steve Martin, I think, would have been fantastic. I think
He's got a dry enough sense of humor.
It's got to be dry humor,
also,
but not.
Also, he has an advanced degree in philosophy.
Yeah, he's smart.
He can cut those corners pretty tight.
Yeah.
Two guys come to mind like real modern, and that would be Alan Tudyk, who I think would be
yes, absolutely.
and Carell.
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell. I can see him.
I don't
doing
see
it
him
too.
as much, but I think that.
Well, when you take his character in Anchorman, I believe definitely he could do that with being Brick like that. Because
now I'm starting to think about it. Yeah, probably
he can do that.
Yeah, somebody brought up to me when I was talking about this.
Carell's funny enough and smart enough to be able to pull it off. Actually,
Yeah, Jim Carrey, but I think he's actually too much on the silly side.
He'd dominate. The problem with this, the brilliance of Python is that they shared space,
and it's self-defacing humor, which Jim's not that great at. He's more self-aggrandizing.
You're wrong. Sorry. Okay. Anyway,
that wasn't my pick.
I've got three quick people that I think.
How quick are they?
Reese
You're saying both one of them?
Yeah, Reese Darby. I think he was in Yes Man. He was also in What We Do in Shadows, New Zealander. I think he would be fantastic in it. Ty Burrell from Modern Family.
Oh,
I
nice.
think I think he could definitely pull off some of that. And then John Lithgow.
Yeah, that was my pick as well.
He'd be the John Cleese.
Yeah.
They look so similar.
They do look
absolutely
true.
And I got to meet John Lithgow actually years and years ago.
Really?
That's a large man. He is like 6'6". He is just a very big person.
Have you guys caught that new show that he was on, Trial and Error?
I have not.
It's kind of a takeoff of Parks and Rec and The Office. Really funny, but the only reason I'm saying is because you see the part he plays in that could be a Monty Python scene. The
first time I saw Lithgow was in The World According to Garp.
Oh yeah,
that's the role that
the gender bending transgender lineman.
Transgender lineman, huge.
Or my kids would say Shrek.
Harry and the Hendersons.
You guys will probably be able to help me fill this name out. His name Chris
Hardwick?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
I'm not familiar with him. Who is that?
Anyways, he's the current host on the talk show after The Walking Dead. It's called The Talking Dead. Right. He's got his own comedy show on late nights, and he's a little wiry guy.
He's the reason why we do these.
He talks at a million miles an hour, and he's absolutely razor sharp.
Yeah, I would totally. Well, just a shameless plug. Go and download the Nerdist podcast,
which he created.
He is like the Nerdist guru. Like
excellent.
He is amazing
and never sleeps.
Yes,
never ever. He's doing so much content.
And he was on MTV.
I wonder why.
We love you, Chris.
Are you doing the
come on the show?
Oh yeah, let's get him on our show.
Let's get him on our show. Yeah. Yeah, you can do that, Deb,
and then I'm not letting him take over our show, but we'll definitely work with him.
Kidnap, take some of his DNA.
No. Yeah. Oh yes, that exactly like a Rick and Morty scene almost.
If you behave and get on the microphone, we'll let you go.
Oh, wow, that's scary.
Or sign us a Nerdist. That could be.
Yeah, that'd work as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And before we get into the other stuff, let's give a quick pause for the cause. We have our minute and a half commercial or whatever. This is so bad.
but what's great is the merchandise in Brad's toys and collectibles.
Is everything toy-wise.
We mentioned before he's got outstanding prices compared to several other collectible type stores.
And we've been to a lot of them because we were talking to a lot of them.
I will say that he definitely has his competition beat price-wise.
And we've shopped around, we know.
Well, actually, I know that sounds all jokingly, but we really have. We've talked to quite a few of these places. This is by far the best one
I've
in
got
Vegas.
several of them that are like right near my house, and I'll go down to Brad's for the Star Wars black figures that I want to collect and such.
And the Funko Pops. Oh.
And the fidget spinners.
Yes. Now let me throw this out there one more time. If you want to help the show out, help yourself out, go on into Brad's and tell them that you heard about us through the show, through iHeartGeek. There's a free prize involved. Make sure that they know it's iHeartGeek, that you heard the commercial, and that they promised free stuff, and you better deliver. Say it nicely, of course, because otherwise I don't want to be your friend.
So where is Brad's located?
Brad's is actually located at 1433 North Boulder Highway. And that is in
Henderson.
How did you so eloquently put
Don't
it?
even
Henderson.
say it.
Classic Henderson.
Yes.
Classic Henderson. OG Henderson. I will say that if you see the Joker's Wild on the left hand side, if you pass that, you've gone too far.
If you're coming from this way.
If you're coming from the left.
Right. Or if you're coming from the opposite side, it's right past the Joker's Wild, right after the Joker's Wild.
While we were doing the commercial, it came up to all our minds at the same time, like clandestine or something. No, not really, because I just put that in. But we had a couple more that we wanted to mention.
Well,
Todd brought up that
it occurred to me that none of us had mentioned any female candidates for the Python Squad.
Right.
And it occurred to me, I mean, if we can use anyone from any time, she's passed away, of course, but Madeline Kahn would be a good choice.
Yes.
Fantastic choice.
Great choice. Great choice.
Another one that comes to mind for me, she was associated with them in Time Bandits and such, Catherine Hellmond.
Yes.
Okay.
Who just also passed away.
Yeah, I think she
did. Oh, that's
Yeah.
a bummer. I didn't know that. Yeah.
It's all good.
Okay. No worries. There's somebody I'm thinking of. Carol King. She was in Scrooge as the fairy. She has that really high voice.
She
was on
She
Gotham.
played Latka Kravitz's wife on Taxi.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is her name?
I'll get it for you. Just one quick second.
IMDb, thank you very much.
Was she also in The Princess Bride as
Yes.
Yes, she was.
Miracle Max's wife.
America Max's wife? Yeah. I can't remember her
This
name
just-
either.
We're so sorry that
I
we
think it might
cannot
be Carol
remember your
Kane or
name.
Carol Kane.
Yeah, just
One of
such
Carol
a.
Kane.
She would be fantastic.
Oh,
as Monty
she's
Python.
on. She's on the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt as well.
Yes,
She's
she
the,
is.
the landlord. Yeah. We know everything about
About
you.
her.
We just
Carol
don't.
Kane. Carol Kane.
Carol Kane. Okay, and then one more that I want to throw up because we've said her name on the show a few times, and that is one Donna from Doctor Who. So yeah, and Catherine Tate. That was it. Thank you. I think IMDb for being faster than us. Could you guys see her? It's kind of that Monty Python feel.
Oh yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. She's got the sass, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, we can throw in David Tennant if we want to, because he's just amazing as well.
I couldn't see him as a Monty Python.
I think he has the same slight problem that Jim Carrey would have.
I think he would.
Python.
He would.
Self-aggrandizement.
He'd take up all the oxygen in the room, and it'd be hard to share space. I think.
Not that he overacts, but I don't see him being an ensemble player like that.
I agree.
Stop that.
Wow.
Okay,
That was a Kodak moment.
It was a little bit, wasn't it? Okay, so
He's having a hard time with this new,
Yeah, he
this new
is.
trend of us actually being on the same page.
Yeah, trying not to do
I'm
that.
trying to, we can get through this, Dub. It's okay.
I'll just listen to the Preacher episode and remember everything. Like, okay, you're fine. Okay, let's move on. We got our main event. Yeah, that sounded really decisive.
Now it's time for the main event.
Okay, for our top 5 today, we're going to discuss the one thing that every American boy at 6th grade and above starts talking about.
Really? We're going to discuss that on this family-friendly show.
Absolutely. I don't know what you're talking about. We're talking about our top 5 favorite Monty Python lines.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
And never the twain shall meet, right there.
Exactly. Okay, so let me start with my number 5. And this one is from... This one is from Holy Grail. You must cut down the mightiest tree in the forest with a herring. Are we going to do this with the accent the whole time? I don't know.
You can try.
A herring!
you
And that
go.
high-pitched voice they said with it.
That's Michael Palin.
Yeah,
doing
that was
part.
such a great the way they delivered their lines was so fantastic.
We should probably note as we go along these lines, if you can remember, like, who delivered the line.
Okay, I'm terrible about that.
Palin
but yeah.
delivered that line.
Well, so we'll see what we can do on that. And just why I found this funny is just the ridiculousness of it. He's like cutting down a tree with a herring, and you just read that line. That's silly, but in context, it's brilliant.
Definitely.
Me? Okay. My number 5 is...
Really, I did not know that was a line.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. I believe that's from the
And now
Spanish Inquisition.
history of life, meaning of life.
Flying Circus. It was one of their sketches.
Is it on the
wasn't
show?
It? Yeah, it was. It was.
It was a regular gig that they did to break up the middle of a regular skit. These three guys would come in the red robes, and
one of mine relates to that. So
And P.S. Munchkin, that was the line that she begged us to say on that. So thank you for getting that in there.
My pleasure.
Do you remember who delivered that line, or did they was it various times?
Criminy. It's the same guy that said, "I need fruit" in Time Bandits.
Michael Palin.
Michael Palin, yeah.
Oh, is he going to be the most quotable today? We'll
Entirely
find
likely
out.
because
He's
he was
one of 'em.
so expressive. They used him for those boom moments.
Yeah, he's one of them.
Okay, my number 5 is going to be from Holy Grail, and I believe from John Cleese as a commoner. She turned me into a newt.
A newt?
A newt? You're not a newt.
I got better.
Very nice.
That's such a great
I think
line.
that was John Cleese. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he was just playing a commoner when they were with the witch. The witch!
That whole witch scene is so fantastic.
Yes.
Because it really does poke fun at human history. I mean, some of the worst parts of human history, and we're laughing at it. I mean, how brilliant do you have to be to do that?
She's got a bull.
That's an actually classic scene where it talk about the sharing of comedic space because
Everybody got their lines.
You've got Terry Jones, who's kind of
and they're just
moderating
totally playing off each
and
other.
you got the dirty commoners, John Cleese, Eric Idle down there in the crowd, and then Chapman shows up, and like how they share the space of that scene is just part of their brilliance.
It's like watching a hacky sack game. They were just kicking the lines back and forth
Every
to each other.
comedic actor needs to watch Monty Python.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, you may not like the humor, but the way they share space.
Yeah, but the delivery. Yes.
They made something absurd, like it cut down a tree with a herring. Freaking hilarious because of the delivery.
I agree.
All right, my number 5. Like I've only seen a couple of the movies, and I've seen a few episodes of the Flying Circus. But one of my favorite ones was from the Ministry of Silly Walks. I think it was John Cleese that did it. It's like I'm sorry to have kept you waiting, but I'm afraid my walk has become rather silly lately.
Oh God!
Was that your excuse from today, sir?
Yes, I couldn't walk to my car like
seriously.
in a fast motion.
The way that he walks in that scene,
his legs are going on forever.
It's like amazing. I can't even believe
face.
he could do some of those walks. It's like really.
Well, the Young Frankenstein. That's kind of where they stole that from, right?
Walk this way.
Walk this way.
Probably,
no, walk
maybe
this way.
That's an ancient vaudeville joke, though.
Yeah,
definitely. All right, my number 5. There are some who call me Tim from the Holy Grail.
There's no reason that should be funny again.
Tim the Enchanter, played by John Cleese, who delivered that line.
There's 3 for Cleese.
Yeah, that's in a movie full of quotables. That's one that stands out, and it's just timing. He timed that perfectly. Tim. Just perfect timing.
And no, that whole weird guy's part in that.
You expect him to say Merlin. Quite honestly, that's what you expect.
Yeah, you didn't think a name like Tim was going to come out of that.
Yeah. Let's go with my number 4. Again, I'm terrible with the names. I apologize. But if she weighs the same as the duck, she's made of wood. And therefore, a witch.
She's a witch.
Again, great scene. Well, I think this is my favorite Monty Python scene, just because there's so much in it. Yeah, that's Holy Grail.
I remember from that scene because it reminded me like what floats. Apples,
gravy,
very small rocks.
A duck. Yes, a duck. You are a man of science.
God.
Just because he's a duck.
As I say, this is going to be a lot of us just laughing at each other or laughing at this movie through each other.
Giggling. Yes. All right,
The Voice. Go ahead, sir.
my number 4 is, of course, Bring Out Your Dead.
Nice.
Dun.
During the Black Plague.
But I'm not
But I'm
dead.
not dead yet.
How can you make the
That
Black
funny.
Plague
Funny.
They did
They
it.
figured out how.
God.
Oh. No, that's just the brilliance of that. Like, he didn't want to come back later, so he smashes him in the head. I'm
When's your
like,
next round? Thursday.
I'm getting better.
I think I'll go for a walk.
Just resting.
I think I'll go for a walk.
and that you nailed that. Just that kind of pathetic voice he had in there
Yeah.
was just so perfect. Like, he's begging for his life without actually begging for his
Now,
life.
was that Eric Idle that was doing the Bring Out Your Dead?
Yes.
Yes.
Eric Idle was doing Bring Out Your
He was
Dead.
walking in front of the cart.
John Cleese was the one trying to pitch to him that the bird
Pitch
was
the dead, yeah.
And I think that Michael Palin was the dead, the one on the gurney, saying, "I'm getting
Or was it the
better."
heavier set dude with the dark brown hair?
Terry Jones? It could have been
Yeah,
Terry Jones.
yeah.
Was it Terry Jones?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that was Terry
Okay.
Jones. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What I
Yeah,
do like
yeah,
though is how they go into there and then he's not going to take him because he's not dead yet. He's like, it's against regulations. all of a sudden they're the
They have
Black Flag,
regulations and
they have
health
regulations
standards.
All of a
first.
sudden they give a crap.
Yeah,
It's because they have a
and then
collective.
bash him over the
They
head.
have a collective. They need a 3/4 vote in order. Oh, that's just discuss the way they could discuss modern politics and the way Congress works, just with the silliness of it is just, yeah. There's no better definition for government than the silliness. Go ahead, Mr. Winchester.
Okay, I'm gonna go from Life of Brian this time, and kind of the whole scene of when they were saying you're not the Messiah, with the mom up there. Who was playing the mom? We were talking about it earlier.
Cleavage.
No, that was Jones. Wasn't
No,
it?
Jones was playing. Yeah,
Oh.
playing the mom. But at the end, I mean, I like the whole scene because you have all those people, all those extras there, all in unison, just talking the whole time how they want to see the Messiah. But at the end, and I believe it was John Cleese who said, "Are you a virgin?" And I hope that's not too personal. And she says, "What's more personal than that?" And then she goes back inside and he said, "Oh yeah, she's a virgin."
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Terrible.
All right, so my number 4 is also from The Life of Brian. Like I'd seen snippets of the movie, but this one just really killed me. Was Harry the Haggler? Wow, nobody knows him.
Yeah.
So basically the scene is, is that for your wife? Oh, well then 20 shekels. Right. What? There you are. Well, wait a minute. Well, basically he asked for 20 shekels. The guy said okay, he was going to pay him. He's like, no. It's
You're supposed to haggle. Yeah.
You're supposed to haggle 20
Okay,
shekels
yeah,
for
okay.
this. You must be joking.
There you go.
Is it-
Nice.
And then he calls up somebody else. Hey, he doesn't want to haggle. What?
Nice.
No, that's actually a lot funnier than I recalled. But now I'm like thinking about, I'm like, that's pretty freaking hilarious.
All right, my number 4 is the entire scene and song in the Holy Grail of the brave Sir Robin.
Oh, yeah.
Sir Robin, brave Sir Robin, brave Sir Robin.
That whole scene again is great. Eric Idle is Sir Robin.
Mm-hmm.
His minstrels are singing his praises, and they start talking about the violent ways that he would die, and he's not afraid to die in any of those violent ways.
Yeah.
And then he comes across a 3-headed giant, and the giant is Michael Palin, Terry Jones, and Graham Chapman. Mm-hmm. And they have a dialogue, and then Robin
Runs
cowards-
away.
and then the minstrels change the song. I'm actually curious if you, Mr. Winchester, might know this. Who actually sang that song? Because I don't think it was that guy that looked like an overdub, and he was just like probably.
I thought it. I don't. Think
I wonder
so.
who actually sang the song.
I don't know. I could try to look it up and have it here pretty soon. But I know
So if
Eric
somebody on
Idle,
Facebook wants to
Eric
look that
Idle
up-
definitely wrote
Wrote it,
everything.
sure, of
Yeah,
course.
he wrote
Yeah,
everything
no
for
doubt.
it.
Yeah, if somebody on Facebook wants to look that up for us, let us know. I'm looking at you, Sean Crutchfield. Just because he's.
Yep.
Okay. My number 3, and this was a toss-up for me, but it's Sir Lancelot was saved from almost certain temptation. Now, I was debating between that or, but I want to be tempted. And that... Oh my gosh, if you haven't seen it, you're missing out on one of the great joys of life. Because he's just fighting this temptation, but I want to be tempted. It's just, yeah.
Oh yeah, Lancelot.
No, it's-
His Lancelot was so funny.
Just when he's running across, he's ha ha. Every time he's like killing somebody,
Please,
ha ha.
Just it's funny. We talked earlier about like the grossness that I didn't like of The Meaning of Life when I was young. But seeing the Holy Grail when he slaughters that wedding
It
is
kills everybody.
absolutely
Yeah.
just the most hysterical. I mean, he kicks like a kid in the face or something. It's It's so
Oh yeah,
bad.
he
It's so
kills
bad.
He kills weaponless
Yeah,
civilians.
Civilians,
I mean,
wedding guests.
Oh God,
it's
that was
so
amazing.
bad. But
Don't stop
funny,
singing! Stop singing!
But funny as can be.
Okay, Todd.
well, my number 3, if you have watched the show, the television show, not necessarily the movies, although it was included in few of the movies, almost every show, John Cleese would show up sitting in a nice ash-colored suit behind a wooden desk, whether that desk was out in the middle of a lake or sticking out of a window or some other absurd place. He would look dead into the camera and say, "And now for something completely different."
Yes.
Nice.
Great line.
Yeah, well, the movie And Now for Something Completely Different was the compilation of the Flying Circus skits. A lot of it. I don't know if all of it was, but a lot of the Flying Circus went into that movie.
Right.
Yeah. Because that was their first movie, wasn't it? And Now for Something Completely Different? I'm pretty sure it was.
Yes, sounds right.
Sure.
Okay, I'll go to my number 3. My number 3 is going to be the a lead up, the song when they first get to Camelot. Everybody's all excited because they got to Camelot. They play that song, and then he just says, "No, on second thought, let's not go to Camelot. This is a silly place."
I like to push the Camelot.
That was good. That was good.
The funny thing with
Thank you for lying, but I appreciate that, bud.
the funny thing with the silly joke is what I dug was the use of the word silly, like in the Camelot scene, but they use that a lot. It's like, no, stop this. This is much too silly.
Much too silly.
You know, when they would, especially like sometimes right before the And Now for Something Completely Different, they'd be like going on a tangent. No, stop. Much too silly. Is great.
Okay. Cool. Who do we Kosh?
My number 3 is one of my favorites of all of Monty Python, which is the Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch.
Oh, good
Fantastic.
I love just how they. Well, how do you use it? How do you describe it? It's like, oh, when he said unto me, first shalt pull out the holy pin, and then count to 3, not past 4, but then to 3. I'm paraphrasing it.
Once again, credit Michael Palin for the majority of those delivered lines about the Holy Hand Grenade.
But
Awesome.
one of my favorite. Loved it.
Yes, this is fantastic.
All right, my number 3 takes us out of Monty Python proper, and we get into Python-esque with the movie Time Bandits, as we've sort of already touched. In the scene where the Time Bandits, the little people, have already stolen Napoleon's treasure, and they jump through time, and they land in Sherwood Forest, and they meet Robin Hood's merry men, who are like these complete savage barbarians, and they're taken to Robin Hood, who is played by John Cleese, who is very posh and proper and a total contrast to his merry men.
Fairly daft.
Yeah. And he's talking about, he's looking at the take that they took from Napoleon's treasure, and he's like, we're going to distribute it to the poor. So the poor, they line up, and they start to receive a gift from Robin Hood. And Robin Hood will hand him something and be, there you go, my love, da-da-da-da-da. And then one of the merry men punches the poor right in the face. And Robin Hood looks over at him, and then another one comes up, and he's like, here you go, my dear, da-da-da. Bam! And then he looks over at the merry man, because there's the one doing the punching, and he goes, is that absolutely necessary? And the merry man goes, it's a vidas of a debauch. And so then he looks at the guy standing next to him, interprets him, and goes, yeah, I'm afraid it is. That's the line.
Nice.
He goes, yeah, I'm afraid it is.
Okay. My number 2 is this one, just because it brings me back to high school and we did this at Drama Festival. Always look on the bright side of life.
As they're hanging on a crucifix.
Yes. Just amazing.
And everybody joins in.
Yes. And it's so happy they're being crucified, and it just feels so happy.
And you know what? That's a dirty song, too.
Oh,
my God. It's got some filthy portions. Life's a piece of...
I got away with it.
When you look at it.
Yeah, I'm surprised we got away with it in high school on drama.
Okay, so my number 2, of course, John Cleese, yet again, portraying a French...
Knight.
soldier on a wall. Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelled of elderberries. all he's doing is insulting the king of the Brits, and that was
amazing.
just one aspect of it. This went on for maybe it went on for maybe 5 minutes.
Oh, this is great.
I'll tell you, one of the funniest lines in that, it's not one of the more clever lines, but like after the Arthur and his knights have been so bloody insulted, one of them down there, I think it's Pedro, goes, "Can we talk to someone else?" And he's like, no, get out of here. Yeah, just that right
You
there.
silly English
And I
kniggets.
love when he looks back in the wall and starts laughing with his friends, like, I just told him that.
I just told him we didn't have one, or we already had one.
had our
We
own.
already had a grail.
Mr. Winchester?
My second is going to be again from Grail. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm going to pull almost all of them from there.
That's my favorite.
It's going to be when God opens up the clouds to tell them about what their quest is, and right away, Arthur, sorry, and don't apologize. Every time I talk to someone, it's sorry this and forgive me that, and I'm not worthy. Just stand there. What are you doing now? I'm averting my eyes, Lord.
Well, don't do it.
Well, don't do it. It's like those miserable psalms. They're so depressing. Now knock it off.
My number 2 is one of my classic favorites, The Knights That Say Knee. But now when you first see them, when he comes back and sees them again and says, we are no longer the Knights That Say Knee. We are the Knights That Say icky, 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 patang, zoop, boy. And we want another shrubbery.
Nice. I love that you gave us the alternative version.
Oh, yes.
That's so much better.
Yes.
That's great. My number 2 is the tagline after the Voices number 2 with the "No one expects a Spanish Inquisition." What followed that a lot was, "It's the Bishop!" And that's when they'd show those 3 guys walking all gangster-like into the thing. And my wife and I still use that joke at appropriate times. We're like, something, and we're like, well, because it's the Bishop! You know, so yeah, I love that.
I always used to love those 3 guys because they used to skulk.
They did.
You know, they'd hunch over and like put one arm out and creep along. It was kind of
Yeah,
funny.
totally funny.
Okay, we're off to the last one, number 1. This one I mainly put because I knew no one else would pick it, and I love when they use insults with berries. I don't know why. Let me tell you something, my lad. When you're walking home tonight and some great homicidal maniac comes after you with a bunch of Loganberries, don't you come crying to me.
Loganberries.
What's with the berries in these guys? But oh yeah, because with the elderberries, and I don't know why, but they used quite a few, and I don't know what's the deal.
Are Loganberries made of adamantium and have claws? Is that why he's...
Oh, that's
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
You just out-geeked me. High five from across the table.
Schnick.
Nice.
Now, if you didn't hear that across the microphones, of course, they tried to high five, but being geeks, they missed.
They missed.
Les Mis.
Okay, my number 1 is a real easy one and a long-time favorite. Michael Palin, the Lumberjack song. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I work all night and I sleep all day. Yeah, this song gets more and more ridiculous as he keeps singing.
Well, it leads to
the point of
drag
to the point of this lumberjack singing how he dresses in women's clothing and hangs around in bars.
Yeah, that one's...
Because why wouldn't he?
That
was
one's,
Why are you
Making
playing
a
with your
guitar.
toy?
that one's, yeah, that
Yeah.
song. I remember, again, when I wasn't into Python in high school and people would, like, do that song and I'd be like, what?
Yeah,
What's that?
actually, you can go onto YouTube and look up the Lumberjack song, and it will give you the whole skit. It's fairly hysterical.
It is,
Nice.
no doubt.
Awesome.
Mr. Winchester?
All right, so my number 1 is going to be more kind of a statement and then just something I still use today, even around my pops and everybody else whenever we play around. But it's run away! Run away! Run away!
It's fantastic. If you've seen it, you're laughing right now.
Right,
because you just
right.
got the vision in your head.
Because it works.
Oh, by the way, spoilers.
Nice.
That scene gives me visions of a cow, a rabbit.
Bitch in the box.
Yeah.
Basically. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. My number 1 is from the Flying Circus, the Dead Parrot skit. It's where John Cleese is coming in. I can't remember who the store owner was, but he wants to buy a parrot, and he goes and gives him a dead parrot,
Yeah.
and he's going back and forth, and he's like, "This is a dead parrot. It ceased to be if you wouldn't have stapled its legs to the perch. It would be pushing up daisies right now."
That is a great scene.
Yeah.
Really.
Oh, isn't that the scene where he grabs the parrot and like bangs it on the table?
Parrots!
PB?
It's just a flesh wound.
Tis but a scratch.
Now, I gotta say this.
Delivered by John Cleese.
Yes, as the Black Knight.
Who plays the Black Knight in that.
You have no arms. Yes, I do.
This was my biggest fear when Vegas got a hockey team, that they were going to call them the Black Knights. I'm like, every other arena around the rest of the country is going to play that scene every time we show up.
Oh, hell yes.
Well, one of the best parts of that, a line that could have made it, was right when he cuts off his legs. He's like, right, I'll do you for that. You'll what?
I'll bite you
to
in the
death.
ankles. Fantastic.
What are you going to do, bleed on me?
Okay,
You're a loony.
We'll call it a draw.
Nice. So that was our main event. Now I'm throwing this one at you, kind of a surprise.
Dub,
Oop.
if I may.
Nice.
That made me happy. So I want to throw this at you guys real quick. Just your last thought. What is your favorite, just kind of non sequitur or sequitur or whatever it's called? Sequitur. Of Monty Python, and mine is actually the intro to Holy Grail, when they're doing the weird credits the whole way through, and it's in
all the animation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's fantastic. It
And
doesn't make any sense.
that last
They were
note
sacked.
where
They
it
were all
goes-
sacked.
Yep.
That big, huge foot comes down and squashes what's ever on the screen.
Do you guys have one that sticks out in your mind?
I was going to say that we didn't really cover it, but the animation all through Python.
Yeah.
That's all Terry Gilliam.
Right.
He is the animator.
And it's all cut and paste technology. They didn't have CGI.
So all those animations through all of their TV and movies, we haven't given him quite the credit that he deserves for that. And there's some hysterical stuff in that, for sure.
My personal favorite thing that the Pythons did religiously is every one of the guys had no problems at all dressing as a woman and playing a woman's part.
Yeah.
Horribly.
Oh yeah, they didn't try.
And that was
to
part of the
pass.
fun. Because everybody knew who they were, of course. It was just really slapstick.
Yeah, and it only offended people with no sense of humor. And it did, that they were pretty controversial for the time. I mean,
you think?
the heresy type things. I mean, they were.
Well, England has always been a lot more liberal when it comes to the cross-dressing, transgenderism, even making fun of the religious symbolisms.
That's true.
Well, Graham Chapman is actually a openly gay man, and all through that time too, and which was very controversial
different
at that time too.
yeah.
Very, very different.
Rife with it, though.
Yeah, absolutely. But he was very open about it and did not try to hide it from anybody either.
Nice.
Very good.
From there.
Nice factoid, sir. Okay, so that's a show. Let's do our little outro thing. Let's start with our two new guys. The Voice. What do you want to tell us, sir?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at the Todd Harvey. You can always find me on dubbing my political page, Vote Wasted Podcast, at facebook.com/groups/Vote Wasted Podcast. That's about all I got. Thanks for having me aboard, guys. That was a lot of fun.
Thanks for coming, sir.
All right, I'm going to lobby for not being the new guy anymore because I've done 3 shows. That's kind of we're in a relationship now.
Well,
so,
are we on third date
we
status?
are on third date status now.
Oh, we know what that
So
means.
this is third show. So
Yeah.
I'm frequently
Initiation.
on the Facebook. I do have Twitter, but I don't normally write stuff. I just kind of follow everybody on Twitter. That is CDub Vegas. And Facebook, like I said, you can write to me on there. I'm one of the friends of the podcast.
You've been doing quite a bit on there, and we appreciate it.
I try.
Wait a minute.
I try.
Third date. Isn't the gift for third date handcuffs?
Well, something with a hand,
Maybe
but
for your third dates.
Only if they're leopard print
else.
and furry.
nice.
You can find me on the Facebook pages as always. I am trying on Twitter, trying to throw out a couple of tweets here and there. And I just started the Instagram post for us, which is on iHeartGeek. If you want to look us up on Instagram, there should be pictures and videos and stuff like that of all of our upcoming things that are going to be going on. So yeah, check us out.
Nice.
And I am on Twitter at PB_and_Jason. I am on the Facebook page posting about stuff all the time. And I am we also have, we are on Tumblr. Look up PB&Jason, and all the shows are also linked there as well. And that's pretty much what I got going on.
Nice. And I'm Dub, and I produce and edit and stuff. And you can get a hold of my Twitter at ComicNotGeek. You can see me on the Facebook page. If you want to get a hold of our show Twitter, which you should, it is at IHeartGeekShow. And most importantly, if you want to pass the show along to friends or tell people where to find it, www.iheartgeekshow.com. Remember the .com? We paid extra for it. And until next time, I'm Dub.
I'm Todd.
I'm Mr. Winchester.
I'm Kaj.
I'm PB&Jason.
And let the two sort of new guys give the line.
Keep on geeking on.
And there was much rejoicing.
And every time you share, you will get superhero abs.
You've been listening to iHeartGeek. Our Twitter account is at iHeartGeekShow. Hope you enjoyed the show.